Hey, what's going on everyone? So today we're going to be taking a look at the Lokithor JA301 2-in-1 jump pack. Now this thing's really cool because it has a built-in portable cordless air compressor, and it's also able to jump start your vehicle. So I've been putting this thing to the test over the past few weeks. I'm going to show you guys how good it works and also show you exactly what it comes with. They did send me this for free to test out and review, but as always, I'm not getting paid to make any of these videos, but I will put an affiliate link down in the description of this video if you guys are interested in checking the current pricing out or picking one of these up for yourself. So now a few days after I got this thing, well, I went to take my son to an appointment that he had and my truck battery was dead. So I was like, hey, I grabbed the camera real quick. My wife come out and helped me. Figured perfect opportunity to film this thing and see how good it does jump starting my truck. It was just a good coincidence, I guess. So we hooked this thing up, started it. I'll show you guys that clip here real quick, and then we'll get back into exactly what this thing comes with. I'm going to show you how it airs up an 18-inch truck tire and some basketballs, and then we're going to put it on my Mustang battery and see how well it starts that, being that that battery is like 10 years old and almost, I mean, there's no voltage at all in it. It's just completely dead. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. And as always, if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please make sure you guys check out some of my other ones and put a comment below. It really helps my channel out and YouTube with recommending my videos. So let's get into it. All right, guys, so I'm kind of in a hurry on this, but it's a good opportunity for me to test out this new jump pack. This is the Lokithor JA301. And gonna plug the jumper cables into here. And first I'm gonna show you really quickly that my battery's dead. You can see there was no power for it to start. Black to the negative, red to the positive. It says 11.8 volts. And this thing, I can hear it clicking, so I'm assuming it's, I don't know if it's automatically turned on. And it worked! Perfect, no problem. Cranked it over fast and started. And it looked like after it started it was showing 14 point something volts, so I'm assuming the truck's charging just fine. But I gotta get going, I gotta take my son to gymnastics, but that was a perfect opportunity for me to use this thing. All right, so now that we've seen this thing in action, let's see what this thing comes with. So first off, it comes with a really nice carry bag. It's a lightweight bag, but it holds everything really well with actually extra room that you could put some other gear in here as well. They give you a separate bag just for your jump cables and your accessories. So let's see what all you get in here. So first, you get the jump cables, and what's really nice about these is they are 6-AUG cables. And you can see how thick they are. That's way thicker than any of my other jump packs that I own. Most of the other jump packs that I have are 8-AUG wires, and one pack I have is actually 10-AUG. So as you know, the lower AUG, the thicker the wire. So that's a really nice feature that they are 6-AUG wires. I got to give it to them for that. Now I did notice that it doesn't look like they are 100% copper wire, but I don't believe any of the jump packs I have are. So then they give you 2 air hoses. So they give you an air hose that's pretty long here that you could just screw onto the compressor and then onto your tire like that for tight to reach areas or whatever. And then they also give you this one that screws onto your compressor, and then this one goes onto your tire like a normal tire inflator would. So one thing I really like about this is this clip on here is all metal. There's no plastic on it, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when I show you the demonstration of it airing up my truck tire. Comes with a USB-C cable for recharging it, or you can use this to charge some of your USB devices if you plug it into the USB-A port on here. Now this thing is rechargeable via the USB-C port here, and the input on it is 5-volt 3-amp or 9-volt 2-amp. So it has a little bit of a faster charge time than some of the smaller packs, but it's not super fast. It's still gonna take you a while to charge this thing up. And then the output on here is 5-volt 3-amps and 9-volt 2-amps. The same, man, it's getting windy out here. Just blew all my gear off my bench here. So it has the same output as it does input, which is nice because you could charge a tablet up with this. You could charge cell phones and things like that from it. It does only have one output. You cannot charge anything from the USB port. That is only the charge port. That would have been nice if they would have made this USB-C port input and output, but only the USB-A is output. And last but not least, they give you some accessories for your air compressor. And we'll talk about these a little bit more when I use them to inflate the basketballs. All right, now one awesome feature about this pack, other than the built-in cordless tire inflator, which can go from 10 PSI all the way up to 150 PSI, is this light on the front. It's rated at 300 lumens, but I gotta tell you guys here, this thing is really bright. So I hung this thing up on a rack that we had at our campsite a few weeks ago when we went camping, and we illuminated the whole area when my stepfather was cooking out on the grill because he was having a hard time seeing. I was like, hey, let me get my new jump pack out, we'll try the light out. So it worked really well for that. All right, so now we're gonna check out the flashlight on this jump pack. Now it's a 300 lumen light, which I'm using it right now actually as like a video light. It's super bright if I point it at myself. But this light is really bright enough definitely for you to be able to do what you need to do and see. You can see here it's lighting up back here nicely behind my house. I'll turn it off here just to show you guys the difference. And turn it back on. But yeah, this thing is super bright. It's really nice, especially if you just wanted to use this pack. It has the nice handle on top that you could just use it as a flashlight if you were to carry it around. Off and on. It also has a strobe feature and also an SOS feature. All right, so now that you've seen the light work on this thing, you can see that it's really bright and definitely enough light to illuminate whatever you need. It's really awesome because the handle on it allows you to use it like a flashlight. So if you wanted to carry around, you know, a nice flashlight, this thing would probably last a pretty long time on that battery that's in this thing. Now, I didn't do a test to see how long the light lasts because, like I said, it's probably gonna last a long time, but that's really nice. It's definitely brighter than almost any of my other jump packs that I own. So that's one nice feature about that. So on this end here, you have a air compressor port for airing up tires. Like I said, in the front, you have a USB-C input and a USB-A output. And then over here is where you would connect the terminals to jumpstart your vehicle. Now these terminals look a little bigger and heavier duty than most of my other jump packs as well. On top, you have the light button, and then on the front here, you hit the power button to turn it on. Now, if you hook this to a battery that's completely dead and it doesn't sense your battery, this thing does have some built-in functions on it where it's safety features so that it won't spark or shock you or burn this thing out. But if you hook it to a battery that's completely dead, you're gonna have to hit the bar PSI button and hold it for about 5 seconds. And what that's gonna do is that's gonna activate this thing and send power to these cables, no matter if it's connected to a battery or not. But just be cautious, because if you do that, you don't want to touch these clamps on anything or short them out, because some of the safety features might be turned off at that point. Now, some of the specs on this thing: it has a 20,000 milliamp hour, which is 74 watt hours. Obviously, it's a 12 volt. It has 1,000 amps of starting, but 2,000 peak amps of starting. Tire pressure range goes from 10 to 150 PSI with a 2 PSI accuracy. So there are your functions of your Lokithor JA301 jump pack. All right, guys, so my truck tire, it goes flat probably once a week, once every week and a half, because I got a slow leak around my rim. We're gonna see how good it airs an 18-inch truck tire up. All right, so you just attach the hose to your tire. And what I really like about this Lokithor here is, unlike some other cheap tire inflators, this thing is all metal. Even the handle that you flip down is completely metal, so it's really nice quality. I don't really know what this thing is for. If you guys know, down in the comments, please let me know. I can't figure out what it's for. It doesn't clip onto the valve stem. It doesn't stay on. None of the attachments clip onto this, so I have no idea what that thing is for. To turn this thing on, you just push the power button, and then you set your tire pressure to whatever you want first over here. So I'm going to set it to 35 PSI, and then you hold down the pump button to start the compressor. We're going to time it to see how long it takes. You can see there's 0 PSI in the tire right now. All right, so it's almost completely full. It's at 12.5 minutes, and it will shut off automatically right before it hits 36 PSI. Well, at least it should. All right, there we go, 13 minutes. So 13 minutes to put in 35 psi from 0 to 35, and when it hit 35 psi, it shut off automatically. They say to be careful touching this end because it gets hot. That's not hot at all. The pack's not hot. The pack's actually nice and cool. It's really not hot at all. It's a little warm coming out of this end here, but not hot. I mean, it's not hot to touch or anything. I can hold my hand on it, so pretty nice. And you can also see here, if you turn it on, it'll tell you your PSI of your tires too, so you can use it as a tire gauge as well. All right guys, so now what we're gonna do with this little valve they give me, I'm gonna air up my son's basketball because it's pretty flat. We're gonna put it in here and see how long this takes to air up this basketball. Put it right on the end of this, clamp it down, and we're gonna turn this on and we're gonna set this to, I think it says 9 PSI. It's kind of hard to tell because it's a little bit wore off. So turn the pump on, and we definitely don't want 35, so we're gonna set it down to 10, because 10 is the lowest that this thing will go. So we'll set it to 10 there and see how long it takes to pump up. Dropped it. And it's pretty solid, pretty solid. So if you want to air anything up lower than 10 pounds, this isn't going to work unless you can maybe shut it off manually, but there's 10 pounds. It works. And now while I'm at it, I might as well air up his other one. I'm going to start the pump here and try to turn it off automatically on this one, try to get less than 10 PSI into it. Feels pretty good, so I just hit the button and shut it off, and actually it shows 5 PSI. So yeah, you can shut the pump off whenever you want just by hitting the pump button again if you need less than 10 PSI. So not only does this come with a ball inflator for airing up balls, but you also get 2 other nozzles for airing up balloons, possibly a small raft and things like that. And you also get the adapter from a Schrader valve to a Presta valve. So like my son's race bike that has the Presta valve, you can use this adapter to convert it to be able to air it up. All right guys, so now after airing up all them tires and those few balls, now I'm gonna put it to the infamous test of trying to jump start the old Mustang that I have here in the garage. If you guys seen any of my other jump pack reviews, I always try to start this thing. This battery's very old and no voltage in it whatsoever from it sitting here. So I'm gonna hook these clamps up first and hopefully this will start it, because it's so low that it may not recognize this battery. But there is a force start feature on here that you can use. So I hooked it up to the battery first. I'm gonna plug it in here. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to show you guys. Well, I'll leave it like that. So I'm gonna hit the button here to turn it on. And you can see it already automatically turned on. Now, what you can do is you can hit the power button one time, tap it, and it basically shuts the power off to everything, and it tells you the voltage of your battery. So basically it acts as like a voltmeter. So right now I'm showing 1.8 volts, and it probably put a little bit of juice into the battery when I hooked it up. So it's showing 1.8 volts. Now to get this thing going again, you cannot force start it or anything. So once you go to the voltmeter to see your voltage, you cannot reactivate it unless you unhook it and then hook it back up. And you can see it automatically kicked on again. Now, if you have to force start it, you can hold down the bar PSI button for 5 seconds and it'll automatically start it. Now, I did notice when I use this thing, you can hear it clicking on and off. I don't know why it does that, but I haven't had any issues with it not working either. So let's see. I gotta shut my alarm off. And let's see if it cranks it over. Now, this isn't gonna start because I have the coil wire off, but let's see how good it cranks. No problem. And I shut it off by myself there. I didn't, you know, it would have cranked a lot longer than that. And it's still on and still giving it power, so it worked great. Now when it starts, I'm gonna go ahead and unplug this thing. Let's hook it back up here and see what kind of voltage we got. Now it's showing 2 volts. So it added a little bit of juice. I'm gonna go ahead and unhook this. And this thing has some nice safety features too. If you touch these, you won't get zapped or anything. It knows when it's hooked to a battery. So yeah, guys, you can see I let it crank for a while. I'm down to 1 bar, but again, today when I started this review, I only had 3 bars because I was messing around with it, charging my phones and stuff in the evenings. We aired up a tire for 13 minutes straight, aired up some basketballs. It cranked this thing over pretty long, and I still have 1 bar left. So if this thing was fully charged, you'd really be able to do a lot with it. So if you're out and about in a single day, you get a flat tire and your battery dies, you're good to go, because at least you'll be able to air your tire up and jumpstart your car. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like I said, as always, please leave a thumbs up. Please place a comment below. And don't forget to check out the affiliate link below if you guys are interested in this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around on the next one. Phew.